Hello, and welcome back, everyone, to the podcast. I am Zach.
And I am Justin.
And this is
Space Sushi Champions,
the podcast about anime, movies, games, and media of all types. Or you know what? Whatever we feel like talking about today.
What do we feel like talking about today, Zach?
You know, I'm feeling like going back to last year, 2024, and looking at some of their top anime.
Top anime. Well, I guess Violet Evergarden and Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, those are, they're a little dated now for this.
Retro anime.
Well, I don't think that Violet Evergarden, at least, would be considered retro. Now, that's still our debate of what's considered retro.
That's a good question, but we'll save that topic for another video because today we're going to talk about...
We're going to look at those Crunchyroll awards, the top 6 anime from it.
Interesting.
Like their 6 that they had for anime of the year.
And these are according to Crunchyroll or my anime list or just in
This
general?
is based off Crunchyroll's list, because I know like IGN had their own list.
Okay.
And they both had different winners.
Okay. So we're going to look at these anime and determine which was up there.
What we thought about them.
So
why are these things maybe in the top 6?
What anime did end up winning that award?
Well, it was Solo Leveling, of course.
Solo Leveling. Okay.
Season 1 of Solo Leveling, which, you know, that's a very popular anime.
Yeah,
I think it definitely got a boost with Season 2 being out around that time. Now, do I think it should have won Anime of the Year? I guess we should just get to that now. I think we both have the same opinion.
Yeah.
We both really like it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Season 1 should have won Anime of the Year.
I do agree.
So I'll mention the other 5 now that were up for the award.
Yeah, when we actually get to that, we'll talk about why we feel the way that we do.
We'll say which one as well we thought was number 1.
Yeah. So, what were the top 6 that were in the Crunchyroll Awards?
So other than Solo Leveling, we had The Apothecary Diaries.
Okay.
Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
Dan to Dan.
Okay.
Delicious in Dungeon.
Okay.
And Frieren.
Okay, that's an interesting lineup.
Yes, we have seen all of them.
I mean, there's at least one in there that I don't think should be there, but that's just my opinion.
You know, there was one I saw that I would have put on here maybe. Oshinoko.
Haven't seen that one.
You did, actually, because it was My Star.
Oh, okay, I did see that.
The English name was My Star. I didn't figure you'd know the Japanese name.
No, I don't. I can't even pronounce the Japanese names. If I try, I butcher it, so I don't even attempt it.
Yeah, Demon Slayer didn't make the list. What was it? The Hashira training arc?
Well, look at the competition. Hashira training? Wow, that's a fun watch.
It's fine. Definitely wouldn't have made my top 6.
No.
So maybe we should... Which one would you like to start with?
Well, if we're going to talk about these individually, I'd actually like to start with what I think is the worst and maybe work our way up.
Okay, Justin, you selected Frieren, you said, right?
Actually, I selected Solo Leveling. No, I selected Dan to Dan.
Did you forget the one? So what do you think about Dan to Dan?
Shouldn't be on the list, if that tells you anything.
It's very popular. People love this show.
The show has a good premise. I'll agree with that. I watched it.
You like the ghost and alien stuff, their abilities anyway?
I like those concepts.
I kind of like their powers.
I do too. I don't like the humor.
A little crude for you sometimes.
Okay, let's put it this way. If you've never seen Spy Family Code White, the movie, they had like a 5-minute sort of psychedelic poop god scene. That was pushing it. This humor like that is through the whole show.
It's a very quirky anime. The animation, the whole story in general, very quirky, but you loved Turbo Granny.
Turbo Granny, she's funny in her own way, but again, that crude humor.
Yeah, I mean, it's a comedy, action, more comedy, I would say, than anything.
The characters are good. The 2 main characters they've got.
Yeah, what's their name?
Good question. What was their names?
You had Momo, which is the main girl.
Momo and...
His name was Ken, but he goes by Okaru. That's what she calls him the whole time.
So Ken and Momo, they were good. The characters were good, and I liked their powers and stuff.
The aliens were weird. Super weird.
Yeah, after fruits, no less. We'll just leave it at that.
I think that's enough Dan to Dan for me. But the transformations was interesting. I did like that.
Yes, and the story itself is pretty well paced and pretty engaging. It's just the humor. I cannot get behind this anime because of that humor. I know that's maybe some people don't care, but it really does bother me specifically. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's a very quirky anime. It's enjoyable for most of the time.
it is. It's just again,
I don't know if it would have been my top 6, but it's very popular and I can understand why it made the list.
yeah, I could see it too.
Now I'm going to go with I think our lists are pretty much the same, to where I'm going to throw my number 5 at Delicious in Dungeon.
I agree with that. There's probably the next one up is the same. We're thinking the same thing as well, but these could be interchangeable. So I agree. Delicious in Dungeon.
Which I did like this one quite a bit more than Dan to Dan.
I did too. It was good.
I like the fantasy aspect of this one. I mean, it pretty much only takes place in a dungeon.
It does.
The characters are funny in this.
I love it. Every single one of them are
Yeah,
good.
it's the whole reaction to everything they do.
I will say, when I first heard about this anime, I thought the title probably should be called this, Luncheon in Dungeon, rather than Delicious in Dungeon.
Listen, I like the title. The characters are good. I mean, Laios and Senshi,
Senshi, those are my...
they love to cook. So pretty much they need to cook because they have no money. So they have to cook everything they find in the dungeon.
And what's funny is they start out in the dungeon, but the sister of Laios, her name was
Fallon.
I want to say Fauna for some reason.
Fallon, who I refer to as Brock from Pokemon.
Yeah, she basically sends them away, and they're going back into the dungeon to get her, but
She was eaten by a dragon.
Yeah.
And she's going to get digested unless they get to her.
Got to get to her fast. But
Because you can get revived in this world.
they're not in a hurry. They have no money to get food, but that's okay because you got plenty of monsters to eat.
This feels in a lot of ways similar to Frieren, based off the party, I would say. I mean, you have an elf. They pretty much have 2 mages because Fallon also does magic. Yeah, Marcel was the other mage.
Yes.
And Chilchuck.
that was
He's like the trap guy.
called him a half foot, I think, in the actual. My biggest complaint with the anime is the focus on food was good and all, but
He wants to eat armor.
yeah, there's just a lot of weird things that's going on here, and there is an underlying story under it, but it's mostly the humor and the food that you can make out of whatever monster.
I'd say the second half feels very different than the first half.
Oh yeah, it got a lot more serious.
yeah, I think I prefer the first half.
Because then your story didn't start unfolding until that second half.
Yes.
And
Because they had to find Fallon, maybe.
up to that point, it was just funny, but then it got really serious really quick, and what made it good kind of took a back seat, so I understand its placement.
And you know what? Chilchuck also loves mimics.
Oh, that's something else we'll be talking
We
about.
will get to that with another character in the future, too. But there's this whole thing with mimics in these 2 series that we're going to be dealing with.
Yeah.
But the reason I said Fallon looks like Brock
Yeah.
is because a lot of the times her eyes are just like closed. For some reason. She opens them a lot of the time, but majority of the time they're closed. For no reason.
I can't think of any other characters that do that, but I can see
I think
it
it's
now.
happened. Maybe Ling from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think his eyes are
Yes.
like that.
Is that supposed to be like... I don't want to sound insensitive here. Is that supposed to be like a race sort of thing in anime, or...
Well, to be honest, I have no idea. Because, I mean, Laios doesn't have the eyes like that.
Yeah, and they're brother and sister.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was an interesting choice.
Yeah, and it's fine. The anime's fine. It's better than Dan to Dan, but I definitely understand its placement where it's at.
Next up, I think that we have Kaiju number 8.
Yep, that was the one I could interchange this with, but
I like
agree
this
with that.
one. This is more action-y.
Yes, and
And I know you like kaijus.
yeah, I mean, come on. We grew up with Godzilla. If there's a monster in it, kaiju, we're in.
Now, this one's a bit different than a lot of, because we're dealing with this guy, Kafka Hibino, and he's in his 30s.
He's an old man.
Was he like picking up trash and stuff like that?
Yep, that and cleaning up monsters and
Yeah, he wants to be in
else.
the defense force with his childhood friend.
But he has absolutely no potential at all.
No. Well, he didn't, at least.
No. And then, out of nowhere, I don't really know what happens. Just
a parasite goes in him through his mouth, and he's a kaiju.
Yeah, he gets kaiju powers.
Yeah, and he's dubbed Kaiju number 8.
Yep. The way it works is these different kaijus that are distinct and powerful from other kaijus get specific numbers. The defense force will kill these kaiju and basically turn their bodies into weapons that they use. So he's just dubbed one of those powerful kaiju.
It's a funny anime too, especially him.
Yeah.
Especially when he has to do push-ups. Because he calls, so they're from the 3rd division.
Yeah.
And his childhood friend's actually like the captain of that.
Yeah.
And he'll call her by her name.
This is kind of like Attack on Titan, where it's like, him and Armin, we're going to kill all the Titans and save the world, stuff like that. She made it, he didn't. So.
He has to hide his, I'm a kaiju. In a way, this feels similar to Solo Leveling in a lot of ways, I thought. Mm-hmm. Except the fights aren't as good in Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, they wrap these up really quick. It's sad to say, but your best fights are actually him versus the humans.
Is he your favorite character in it? I like the vice captain.
I do too.
Vice captain's a good character.
He only likes Kafki because he's funny.
Now, that's a good enough reason.
It's a good series, and I will be honest. The first episode I watched, I was like, what is this? Why am I
didn't even know he was
this?
the main guy.
I didn't. I thought the little kid that was with him.
Well, he's not a little kid.
Well, the young guy that was with him.
He joins the defense force with him.
I thought he was going to be the main character. I was surprised when he was not.
And now it is time for our number 3.
Yeah, this one is one that first watch I really liked. Rewatch, still good, but I could definitely see its placement.
The Apothecary Diaries.
So in this one, we've got
Mao Mao.
Mao Mao, who ends up basically kidnapped.
Yeah, she's an apothecary, let's throw that out there.
A passionate apothecary who goes psycho crazy when she's around poisons.
She loves poison. But yeah, she gets kidnapped and sent to the emperor's place.
Yep, sold to the inner palace, and she figures out some things through a series of events. She ends up as a higher sort of position as a lady in waiting for one of the
concubines.
Oh, not courtesans, the concubines.
Yes.
Courtesans she came from a place that had courtesans, but that's...
Yes, that's from the pleasure district.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she learned apothecary from her father, kind of thing.
Yeah, through the course of the anime, she's basically solving mysteries.
Which I find really interesting, the medical mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one with a powder.
Yes.
That deals with the baby.
Mm-hmm. One of the...
That's early on in the series.
Yeah, the powder is making people sick, and she has to figure out what's in it, how it's affecting people and stuff like that.
And these happen over multiple episodes too, a lot of these mysteries, which I like.
It was a really good. It's not just this. They have different sorts of things that are happening, mysteries that she has to solve. Everything.
Yes, and we forgot the other main character.
Oh, yeah. So we got a...
Jinshi. The eunuch.
He's very interesting.
He loves to tease Mao Mao, I'll tell you that.
He's the pretty boy kind of type with a weird secret that you find out more in season 2, but she can't really stand him, and yet they're pretty much inseparable.
Yes, there's definitely a little romance going on in the future, we can tell.
Yeah, he is responsible for getting her into these different mysteries and stuff like that. And
yeah, he's the favorite eunuch of the emperor.
A very high ranking.
Yes, I mean, he's probably the top of the eunuchs.
Yeah. And he's always bribing her with different medicines and stuff for helping out.
And have I mentioned how thankful I am? I'm not a eunuch. No, thank you.
I'm the same way. Couldn't imagine. Well, hey, the people in Dan to Dan will probably know what that's like.
Just Okaroon. Just Okaroon.
All right.
But the Apothecary Diaries is really good. It's funny.
It is. It's
very good mysteries. I think it's quite a bit higher to me than Kaiju number 8.
I agree.
At least the first half of season 1.
you get a surprising amount of emotional scenes, things that really pull you in this anime.
Mao Mao has an interesting backstory as well that we won't go into now.
Yeah.
That they play big into in the series.
I loved everything from the mystery to it to the moments. There's some really deep things. It's kind of just thrown in there, but...
Yeah, this is another series we'll have to break down too because season 2 is airing right now.
Yeah.
So maybe once that finishes up, we'll do a whole review.
Yeah.
Our number 2, we've already mentioned it, Solo Leveling.
Solo Leveling.
Now, I will say this one has the best fights.
I agree.
And by far the best animation out of the 6.
It is, don't get me wrong, very, very good anime. Totally worth watching, and
Season 2 is even better when you get to that one, but just based off Season 1, this is number 2.
that's the problem. If this anime was Season 1 and Season 2, I would say it absolutely 100% deserves the award.
I love the world
I do too.
with these gates that they go into. So our main guy, Sung Jinwoo.
Jinwoo, I know a lot of people, me included, were saying Jinwoo at the start. That's not.
You don't know how to say the names correctly. That's why I looked these up for us.
I butchered Japanese names.
Well, this isn't
I
even
know.
Japanese.
That's what's worse. It's translating over to Korean names now.
Yeah, but he's a really weak hunter. He's a level E.
Yeah,
So that's the lowest of the low.
And they're in a world where these gates are opening, and if they don't close them by defeating the bosses within, monsters come out and destroy the world.
Sounds like a fun world to live in.
Yeah, very interesting. So
on his first gate of the series, pretty much everyone, well, a lot of people died. Not everyone, but a lot of people died. We thought he was dead. There's this box that pops up, asking if he wants to pretty much continue.
He has 0.2 of a second to decide before his heart stops on that screen that pops up. And I guess he chooses to accept that.
Well, probably good for him. And now he just always has this screen that he can pop up, like a video game.
I laughed so hard when he was asking the people, can you see the screen? And they're like, what screen? It's like, oh, maybe just me then.
But he pretty much was a hunter so he could try to provide for him and his sister while his mom has this illness that she can't wake up from, which they don't know what will happen with her.
Yeah, she's pretty much, I hate to say dead at this point.
She's comatose type thing.
She's not conscious, and it's just him and his sister, and he's going into the dungeons to make money to pay for her tuition, for his mom's medical bills, just all these things to try and be a supportive parent, sibling, I guess.
But once Jinwoo gets this screen, he really changes because he's able to upgrade his skills.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
He completely changes body and everything. He looks way different after episode 3.
Yeah, he has this ability to do something that nobody else can. In this world, your ranking and your power is basically set. You can't increase it. You can have what they call a second awakening.
But it's rare.
But
and he doesn't have a second awakening.
No.
No one else has this, he can go into these, dungeons himself and climb up the floors and level up his skills. Solo leveling.
Yep. And he has to do these different quests and things.
Daily.
Yeah. Or there are consequences to what he's doing. So basically, it's kind of playing out like he's a character in a video game. And
he's just becoming overpowered.
Yeah. Well, very quickly.
Yes.
And
very good, though.
As he levels up, he gets new skills, new abilities, new strength.
I really like some towards the end of season 1, which goes into season 2.
Yeah, and how he carries us over. This is why I said if season 2 was considered, I'd agree. What carries over from the last couple of episodes in season 1 into season 2 is phenomenal. I loved it.
Season 2 was probably the most hyped I've got for anime in a long time.
Yeah, they're amazing fights. My biggest complaint with that is it feels like we peaked at the end of season 2, maybe. I don't know where they go from there, me personally.
Well, I mean, there's still more of it, so I'm sure we got somewhere to go, and there's a whole sequel series.
Yeah. But we won't spoil anything there. As far as just the season 1, you basically got Jinwoo, who levels up to a certain point and kind of stops before things really get good.
And you meet other hunters, but I feel like a lot of them in season 1 aren't as memorable as they are in season 2.
The only one I could remember was the sort of juvie Boa Hancock sort of love interest, Hunter Choi.
Cha. And she doesn't really do anything till season 2.
No.
I mean, I remember the guy that goes on quest with him.
Yeah.
And like the girl that's friends with his sister.
I remember them, just not
their names. But I think it's time to get to our number 1 of this list.
The Freerin.
The Freerin.
The Freerin. Freerin, the journey after, something like that? Or after Journey's End?
Something like that. I just listed it as Freerin.
So basically the premise of this one, we are seeing the conclusion of a grand adventure that has already happened.
The Heroes Party.
I would have loved to have actually seen. But
you get to see moments.
But instead we get their celebration, and then everything that happens after this is everything that happened after this.
I actually like the pacing of this one a lot.
I do too.
I think it's the best paced of what we've seen so far.
Yep. So a little bit about Freerin's character. You want to talk about that?
Well, she's very aloof. I'll say that much.
In more ways than one.
I mean, elves also, their perception of time is funny. Because she's like, we can stay here for a few decades.
Yeah.
And Fern's like, yeah, I can't do that. That's a mage that she has been raising pretty much as her assistant.
Yeah, Freerin went on this journey with this party. She barely got close to anybody, and after it was done and the hero actually passes away, she realizes she wasted time. So the whole premise of this is kind of her enjoying life, getting closer to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, these people that she will definitely outage. They will all be dead.
Yeah,
and she'll be alive.
I laughed how Fern was... She actually said Fern was just a little thing when she found her and started training her, and then after she outgrown her, she said she felt out of place. She felt shorter. It's not fair.
I think a lot of this characters have a lot of development.
Yeah.
Like, they have very nice stories, especially like Stark.
Yes,
I like Stark
him
a lot. Mm-hmm. This pretty much coward.
Yeah. But a very powerful coward.
And we brought mimics back.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing in this whole...
So they look similar in both this and Delicious in Dungeon. It's pretty much just this treasure chest.
Yeah. It's a treasure chest, though, that wants to essentially...
eat you.
Yeah.
Well, Freerin can't resist.
Yeah, because as she is obsessed with anything magical. And even though they've got a spell to detect whether something is in the chest or not, even if it's 99% accurate, it's like that 1%, there could be something in there. And of course...
she's a little greedy. She's always looking for like grimoires and treasure type things.
And Fern turns into a mother-like character.
For this person that is much older than her.
Yep.
And she has to wake her up all the time.
Wake her up, brush her hair, get her dressed.
Freerin has some good facial expressions to the series.
I do like those two. And I love Pouty Fern. That's
yes,
one of my
Pouty
favorite
Fern
things.
pops up. Usually with Stark.
Yeah, he'll do something that makes her mad.
I also like the flashbacks a lot.
Yeah,
I think it really helps tell the story.
I agree.
With Himmel the hero.
Mm-hmm. You get these little snippets of what happened in the past, and it plays into
it's
what they're dealing
typically
with
connected to what we've got going on.
Mm-hmm. And it really is. It's beautiful stuff. And like you said, the pacing of all of it is just wonderfully done.
I don't think this is much higher rated for me than Solo Leveling, but they're both probably 8s.
They're 8s. Now, the reason we say that Freerin is better than Solo Leveling
is based off the one season here, I would say. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it helps Freerin that it's like 28 episodes. Yeah. While Solo Leveling is, I think, 12 or 13. I think it's 12 in the first season.
So you got a lot more content, good, richly
I would say
paced.
the story is better, though, in Freerin.
If Solo Leveling had season 1 and season 2 in the same thing,
I think the fights enough could have moved it to my number 1 spot.
Yeah, the fights are amazing, and everything was just, it was so good. But just season 1.
I would say Solo Leveling is not necessarily overrated, It's just I don't think it deserved number 1. Yeah. IGN actually rated Frieren as their top anime.
I don't know why, but Frieren is like getting the, didn't you say the best score on my anime list right now?
Yeah, on the website, my anime list, it does have the top score, which I think you can make an argument. Maybe Frieren's overrated too. There.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it's a good 8 though.
They're good anime. Don't get us wrong. They're really good anime.
I need the conclusion to both of them before I can really give a score.
Yeah. But I do think we can all agree these 2 are better than the other 4 we've mentioned.
I agree.
I'm actually looking forward to season 2 of Frieren. Season 2 of Apothecary Diaries has been good. Solo Leveling was good. Frieren.
I'm really looking forward to that in, I believe, January.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something we're going to have to cover Frieren probably towards the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that would be what we'd pick. It basically goes Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon,
Kaiju number 8.
Apothecary Diaries, Solo Leveling, which they picked, but we would not, and then Frieren. So
I'm good with that list.
I think that's...
We should have been the judges.
Yeah.
Though I think this was like a fan vote. So you guys picked Solo Leveling.
Well, you know what? Since the fans picked it, I respect it. But speaking of fans picking things, how about you guys? Tell us what you think. What would you rate these things? Do you agree that Frieren should be number 1?
Do you think Solo Leveling is overrated?
Do you think there should have been another anime from last season we didn't mention? Maybe it should have been there. Tell us in the comments what you think.
And I'm excited to see what we'll have this year with the anime.
Yeah.
What will be next year's? I don't know. We still have a lot of time left.
A lot of time left. But still a lot of good things out there. If you haven't seen these, definitely check them out. You won't be disappointed by at least 5 of them. But I think we'll go ahead and call things off there for now.
Yeah, make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share it with your friends, hit that bell notification, and we will see you guys next time.
Catch you guys later.